Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame. So, ah, um, pure coincidence, but in all honesty, this shirt sums up how I'm feeling right about now. It literally was like between 50 cents and $2 whenever I purchased it from Walmart of all places. And yeah, I'm tired in my spirit. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this recap review because y'all know I'm tired. I know y'all tired. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So yeah, Lady May is in the bed laying next to the bishop, and despite what I thought would have happened, um they basically literally just picked up where it left off. I speculated that maybe they were going to rush him to the hospital and put him on uh, life support, and then somebody would have to pull the plug. That's what I thought was going to happen. Oh, okay. But that's not what happened. Lady May was in the bed with the bishop, and she was just laying there. And y'all, I'm sorry. I'm still processing, so yeah. But anyway, she's laying next to him, processing everything, and then she gets up and she reaches for the box that has the ring in it that the bishop wanted to give to her again, and she places it on her finger. Now, she's called out for Gigi before, but she never responded. She literally was like in her room or in Sophia's room, still talking to her about the pictures that Sophia confessed to sending out, and why is she going, you doing the most, you trying to go to a whole nother school. Apparently it is a big deal because Sophia at this point is trying to convince her mama that it's not a big deal that she's switching up schools. And it's like, girl, the lies. Like, if it ain't that big of a deal, go back to the school that you were at. Now you know it's that big of a deal because everybody has seen the pictures. Everybody know what time it is. Everybody know what's going on. So anyway, Lady May has gotten up, left out of the room, and starts walking to Gigi's room. At this point, the conversation between Gigi and Sophia is over, and Sophia is like, you can take the phone call or whatever, and she walks out. So she answers the phone. It's actually someone from 2020. And they offered her a job before. Some family stuff went down. And she was just like, nah. And they were like, look, that H&H stuff that came out, we know that you had a hand in it. And Gigi made sure to she made sure to say that Darius, had a hand in it too, of bringing this stuff to light. And they were just like, look, we want to offer you a job. We know you're amazing. What do you say? At this point, her mama is like at her door. So she turns around just in time to see her mama. And she is looking at the look that is clearly written all over her mama's face. And she's like, I'm going to have to call you back. So we are basically able to infer that the news has been broken to all of the kids because eventually everybody gathers around Bishop's body. Charity's laying on him. Like, it is just a moment full of emotions. Like, nothing has to be said. So they show the funeral. Of course, they intend to bury him on the same land where Faith was buried. The guy who he's been dealing with, who is a friend of his, who owns the I guess it's a mortuary, funeral home or whatever. He was there. All the kids were there. Carissa was there. I always got to show up for a moment. And I mean, I get it, but girl, bye. She was there, and Charity was singing. Y'all, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I literally keep forgetting that the woman who plays Charity is related to the Winans. Like, her last name is Winans, and she literally smiles just like Cece. And I'm just like, what is wrong with me? And I've done a thoughts video on it before on her, basically to express my disdain for her as a character on this show. But I don't know what is wrong with me. Like, it literally just dawned on me, like, wait a minute. She kidding then. What is wrong with me? But anyway, y'all, they had the funeral, and then they ended up having like family lunch or dinner. And AJ was there. AJ is like really distraught, and he is so upset to the point where he's like, I can't even believe that I feel like this about someone who I barely even knew. And you know, everybody is like really like in their feelings, of course, but he took it really, really hard. Y'all, I don't know why a lot of people cannot stand AJ, but you know, I've seen him in other things, and I mean, I get it on one hand, but I don't think he did that bad of a job. Goodness gracious. But anyway, they ended up doing like a toast to the bishop. And Lady May actually gets a phone call from one of the women on the deacon board. And Connie Sykes is no longer affiliated with anything, because I think she might have been like the head deaconess in charge or whatever. I don't know what they call that position. But yeah, I guess she was like whoever the lead one is on the deacon board, the deaconess of the deaconesses. And the person made sure to let her know that she has nothing to do with it. Calvary is here to stay. And they actually wanted her to speak about the bishop, and it was going to be a memorial type of situation. And they really wanted her to come and speak. And I'm just like, I mean, it's crazy that it took that man dying for her to be able to really do what she feels as though she was called to do. So Noah has gotten a house, and the house is nice to me, y'all. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, you done went off. Him and AJ plan to continue to live together, even though AJ is 24 years old. But in all honesty, it's really because this is going to be bonding time for him, because he hasn't, you know, known anybody that has been related to him. He hasn't been around anybody. So I understand it. I'm not going to hate on it. This is definitely not like the Greenleafs. It's nothing like them. It ain't nothing like his mama and her siblings. 40-something and however old in the house with your parents. It's like, y'all, just why? Anyway, y'all, Carissa at the house after everything has happened, and I guess she has had her moments where she is spending time with Winky, and you know, he's so young that he really doesn't understand what's going on. And so they're having a moment, and she's like, hey, you know, can you take him for a couple of days? I need to go house hunting or whatever for myself. And he was like, sure, of course I can. And she was like, you know, this is the perfect time. All this stuff is going on, you know, shared custody. So, you know, hopefully it's okay for me to do this. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. Grace, Gigi, is having a moment with Darius, and she's in her feelings because she does not know whether or not she should actually follow her dreams again and go to New York, because that's where she would have to go in order to get that job and work that job. Because then people basically are like, you got the job, we just need you to come for the interview. That's just the technicality, in all honesty. But y'all, to make a long story short, Darius was like, if you end up going to New York, you know, do what you do, but I mean, I will accompany you. Because she's like, you keep talking about a future, you and I having a future. How are we going to do that if I go there? And he was like, I would accompany you. Like, So she was like, "Oh, you would follow me to New York?" He said, "I didn't say anything about following you. I said accompany." So for whatever reason, she becomes overcome with just this joy and relief, and it was just positive feelings, and it was kind of like confirmation for her. So it's like she can have a lot of things now instead of just trying to sacrifice for the sake of her family and all this other stuff. Because before, as I already mentioned, she didn't follow her dreams because some stuff popped off with her family. And so this time she's considering going on ahead and accepting the offer. Okay, y'all. So they're at the house, just the siblings and their mama, Lady May, and they're talking, and she is expressing to them how the scenario is going to go with her speaking about the bishop. And Charity is like, I'll sing a song or sing songs or whatever. And, she's kind of out of it because these people are calling her. This is literally the next day. Because she said, "Oh, well, I'll call you back, or you can call me back tomorrow," or whatever was said that day. This was literally the next day. And she's at the table and her phone is blowing up. Then it left messages. And she's distracted. And her mama was like, Charity was like, "Grace, Mama's talking to you. Mama's talking to you." And so she was like, yeah, I'm on board, full steam ahead. And I'm like, "Lord, girl, are you going to live out your dreams or not?" So anyway, Lady May goes to the church and Corinne is with her, and she's actually leading her to what seems to be the bishop's old office. And she asked to have a moment to herself with the door closed, and you can just tell that she's having a moment and taking it in because so many memories were had in that building. Jacob went and visited Tara, and he basically went to say to her, like, could you please work with us, because we're going to need maybe 3 months to get ourselves together before we can give up the house. And so she was like, yeah, you ain't got to worry about that. Your mama can keep the house. Y'all can keep the house. I ain't worried about that. And so Jacob was like, "Well, what do you mean? What about the blessing?" And so she was like, that necessarily isn't my blessing. And Jacob is just so taken aback, like, "You gonna give up the house? Really? What's going on here?" So yeah, Grace is having a one-on-one moment with her brother, and she kind of explains how she feels and the dilemma that she feels is going on. And he explained to her his situation, which was basically denying the fact that he's gay and just trying to do everything that everybody else deems to be the right way of doing things instead of living in your truth and doing what you know is best for you. And so he was like, "Look, whatever you decide to do, you can do it, but I'm not going to accept you saying, oh, well, I can't bring myself to answer the phone and give this person a straightforward answer, as you basically saying yes or no. Like, you're going to have to answer this phone and give these people a yes or a no, because I know you better than that." So I was like, "Okay then, Aaron, you better set it off." Y'all, so my heart, y'all, my heart. I just can't. Anyway, the day comes and everybody knows about this memorial dedication or whatever you want to call it, that is basically a celebration of life for the bishop. Tara showed up and Jacob saw her and was like, "Hey, what you doing here?" And so she was like, "Why wouldn't I be here? My favorite gospel radio station has been talking about this and said that you better get your butts down here. So here I am." And so he's like, "Well, what about your congregation?" And she was like, "I mean, they're around here somewhere." And so he was like, "Really? You brought your congregation?" And so she was like, "Yeah." And she was like, Tasha, Tasha Skanks, she said that, you have a soft spot for the homeless. And he was like, "Yeah, I do." And she was just like, I could respect it, and hopefully one day the three of us can get together on some projects and, get some things done. And so, they said their goodbyes. Y'all, the celebration of life is underway. Charity is singing a song. Y'all, I swear to y'all, I felt like once we realized that Lady Mae was going to speak, in my mind, I was like, if they bring a guest singer on here, I'm going to be done. Y'all don't understand. I really be thinking of very precise things that I think is going to happen, like to really put the episode in perspective. Y'all, in my mind, I thought that they were going to set it off and they were going to get Shirley Caesar and she was going to sing that song, "The Church is in Moaning." I was like, if they do that, I'm turning this off. I'm not watching the rest no time. So I was going to be done. I was going to be laid out in the flow. I'm serious. Like, y'all don't understand the things that my mind processes. The way my mind processes stuff, I'm just like, oh no, please don't do this. But anyway, she ended up singing. Lady Mae got up there and she did her thing. She was like, look, I have talked to Bishop this week probably more than I've talked to him in the last 10 years. And this man is deceased. Like, come on now. Like, she was really trying to come up with what she deemed to be appropriate, or what she would think that James would want her to say about him. And she came up with the same thing she's been coming up with since she did her little thing before. New beginnings. Talking about new. The new again. Everything is new. I thought it was really good. Y'all, did y'all catch how they panned the camera over at AJ? AJ had this look on his face. As soon as I saw the look on his face, I said, oh no, he finna get saved today. Like, he really is feeling it. And just like a couple of episodes back, he was talking to the bishop and he was almost swept up in just the bishop having a normal conversation with him. So I already knew he was on the cusp of getting saved anyway. But yeah, y'all, she preached. She set it off with the sermon. And then after it was over with, she was like, anybody want to get saved? And, said all the things that you normally say to people. AJ went up there and got saved. I was like, all right, now, y'all better do this. Y'all better do it. So that was an amazing thing. Of course, Grace was very happy. His dad and Noah was happy. Like, everybody was there. And, like, they prayed over him, did the things they normally do. So Lady Mae is in the bishop's office again, and Grace comes in, and so she was like, oh, mama, do you need a minute? And so she was like, no, Grace, come in, I need to talk to you. So she's talking to her, and she was like, well, I heard that they're, basically giving you the church. She's going to be preaching, like, every Sunday. And so she was like, yeah. Y'all, Grace goes on ahead and drops the bomb that she is not going to be there. She's leaving. Her mama instantly was like, Grace, don't do this right now. Your father isn't here. I'm going all the way through. I need you. I need you here. I need you right now. This is when I need you the most. So she had to like roll all the way up on her mama. I was like, Mom, I gotta go. You will be okay. Everybody will be all right. I have to go and do some things. I have to tend to myself. I have things I have to do. So it's like, instead of arguing and doing the things she normally does, it's like something clicked in her mind. It was like, okay, all right. So they end up showing Grace saying goodbye to everybody. And I was like, okay, all right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not satisfied with the ending because it just, I don't know. I'm not satisfied, y'all. Basically, she said her goodbyes to everybody, and a driver took her off the premises, and, she was just like, I go by Grace Greenleaf, not Pastor Greenleaf or whatever, because the driver was like, oh, you're Pastor Greenleaf. And she was like, no, actually, I just go by Grace Greenleaf now. And then that was the end of the episode. So hopefully the spinoff will be amazing, y'all. This was a good episode. It was good. I'm still sad about the bishop. I'm really sad. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to go to bed. I have other reviews and stuff I need to do, so hopefully I'll get those done by the end of the week. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all later on. Bye.